Hi, welcome back to the channel. I'm Michelle, and today I want to share with you my Homeschool Mom Confessions. I'm going to share 5 Homeschool Mom Confessions with you today. Again, these are my opinions, just mine solely. So the first homeschool confession is, I miss public school. I miss public school for a couple different reasons. If you're new here, I have a 9, 5, 2.5-year-old. My 9-year-old was in public school from K to 2nd grade. We are our 2nd-year homeschoolers. So, I miss public school for 2 main reasons. I miss it because I miss not having the weight of my child's entire education on me. Having the drive to do the research and make sure I'm up to date on things and knowing I'm teaching the best way. It's a lot of pressure and stress on me, and I'll be honest, it was completely easier to send my child knowing that she was being educated by professionals taught in their field that did the research, got the education, that have been doing this for sometimes 30, 40 years. I miss not having that weight on my shoulders. Number 2, the reason I miss public school is I miss the free time that I would have. Now, a lot of homeschoolers will say that one of their joys of homeschooling is that they're around their children all the time and it creates this great relationship, and it is nice, but I'm a person that I don't want to be around anybody 24/7. I definitely am an introverted person. I like time to myself. I like pursuing my own interests and hobbies. This is not to say that I don't enjoy spending time with my children. I do, but sometimes I need breaks. Sometimes I need to be other things besides mom. And those 6-7 hours gave me a chunk of time to either work outside the home or to really invest in myself and the things I'm interested in. And yes, I can totally still do my hobbies or work from home as a homeschooler, but it just stretches me that much more. It's so many more balls I have to juggle in the air or hats I have to wear that it's just pulling me a little bit more, that I miss having that chunk of time to myself. Number 2, which kind of relates to that, I miss just being mom. I am now more than mom, and don't get me wrong, I've always taught my children, we're always our children's first teachers, but I miss just being mom, not having to be the math teacher, the English teacher, the writing teacher, being everything to them, because I'm already so much to them that we just recently took our break. We do a Sabbath scheduling, I'll link up above here, how we do that, where we do 6 weeks of school on and 1 week off. And we had this week off recently, and we had nothing planned, no activities, nowhere, no field trips, nothing. We were just at home, and it reminded me of what it used to be like, where I was just mom, we didn't have to make sure we got this done. We didn't have to make sure we were on track for certain things, that we could just do what we wanted and not have these other obligations that we had to fulfill, and that I didn't, again, have to play all of those roles. So, number 3, I let my kids decide whether or not they want to be homeschooled or they want to attend public school. Private school isn't really an option for us because of the expense, so those would be the 2 options. But every year, a couple months before the school year starts, we sit down, and my 5-year-old had her first conversation with this coming year, because it would have been her first year eligible for kindergarten. But we talk about the pros and cons of both homeschooling and public school. We never sway our children a certain way. We never want them to think that homeschooling is better than public school or public school is better than homeschooling, because honestly, there's pros to cons to both. And it really depends on the child and the family and so many different outside factors that it's really a decision I think needs to be made with each individual child and each individual family in mind. So we talk about, what it would look like in public school, what would be expected of them. And same with at home, at home it's not gonna be easy either. It's going to be hard no matter what choice we make. But I think them having a say in their education is very important, because I could see how easily as they grow into adults, they turn around and have this mentality that you did this to me, you forced me to do this caused something else to happen in my life, and this is your fault. I want them to feel like they have a part and a say in their education and their future, because one day they will leave this house and they will be solely responsible for themselves and their education, what they do with their lives. So that being said, there are some stipulations. Obviously, if they choose to go to public school and they don't get to leave in the middle of the year, it's one of those things you have to see till you're through. And again, we present it as there's both positive and negatives to either. My 9-year-old thought about it this year, and she decided she, again, wanted to continue with homeschooling because for her, it's an easier, better environment for her to learn in. My 5.5-year-old, this is kind of all she knows, and she knows the joy of homeschooling. And we've talked about, since she has celiac disease, the struggles that she would have in a public school setting as well, with food and activities that they do, and the different aspects it would be. And I think one of the things that rings true to both my children is they realize that they get to learn at their pace, which is very nice because my oldest was always ahead of her peers and often was bored in school, much like my 5.5-year-old now, who would be entering kindergarten, is doing first level work. And that's not to say, ooh, she's so smart. It's saying it's nice that she can work at a pace that challenges her continually. So again, we present these ideas and thoughts and have open conversations with each other. It's not that you have to do this, this is what we do. It's what do you think, what do you feel, what do you want to do? So number 4 is, I think YouTube, social media, homeschooling is great. It gives you the ability to connect with homeschoolers that you may never have met before, ability to connect with a community that you don't have near you. But I also think it has this overwhelming influence as you as well. You see all these different families and what they're doing and the curriculum they're using and the pros and cons and why they like something, and it influences us, right? I was very easily influenced in the beginning of my homeschool journey, and that's mainly because I was unsure of myself. I had a lot of self-doubt, and am I screwing up my kids like a normal person would think? But it led me to buy things that I didn't use, that I didn't need, that I saw that someone else liked. I have a whole video on the Good and Beautiful and why I bought that, even though it didn't work for our family. But there are other things I've just bought because everybody has them. So for example, I think most homeschools have this, right? I don't like it. I don't like it. My kids aren't really big fans of it. I'll tell you why. I think it's very beautiful. I think homeschooling should have a whole separate area. These are pretty useless things. So I like that it's drawn and it's pretty, but for example, my kids really hate that a lot of the stuff is written in this cursive because it's hard for them to read it. And it's just very, like throughout the book, you'll see the cursive. It's very aesthetically pleasing and pretty, and I think it has good information, but my kids never pick this up. I never pick this up. I bought the entire bundle and we never use it. But again, that's one of those things that you're just influenced to buy, and that might work for your family and that's great, but for us, it's like, what was the point? Another resource we use, a laminator. So many homeschoolers swear by laminators and binding machines. I bought a laminator very early on, and I think I've used it a handful of times. I don't even know where it's located in my house now. It's probably shoved in some box somewhere. But I don't laminate everything, but I thought it was one of those things I needed. Same with a comb binding machine. Those are super popular too. And I've looked so many times online, like, should I buy one, should I not? I'm like, I don't bind my stuff, and it's fine. I use binders, I use folders. I don't need a binding machine. But it's very easy to be influenced on this platform. So, again, number 5, which leads to my 5th reason, is YouTube, social media gives you a glimpse into someone's life, but never the whole picture. I recently had a comment asking how I got all these things done, and it made them feel like as a person they weren't doing enough. And I commend this person for commenting in it, because I think a lot of people feel that way. And the point of my channel is always to be a helpful resource. I never want anybody to feel like, because I'm doing this, or this is working, or that isn't working for me, that it wouldn't work for you, or you shouldn't do that. And if you ever feel watching one of my videos that you are not good enough, stop watching my videos. That would be my advice. I will not be offended if I've had to stop watching YouTube channels just because it made me feel bad about myself. It's not necessarily anything that person was doing or that channel was representing, but just the constant comparing and sometimes the constant feed of seeing what other people do plays into our mind and gets the wheel running. Are we doing enough? Should we be doing that? And sometimes just taking a break or a step back from that is really important. Even if it's my channel that you leave, that's great. If it's better for you, for your mental health, not having the constant reminder of what somebody's doing or the comparison, because we don't all have it together. Those get it done with me videos I find really annoying because nobody ever gets it done. It's just, the day in the life. I recently put one of those out. I'll link it up above. And that's what, 25 minutes of my life in a 24-hour span? Keep in mind, it's a glimpse. And I'm not going to show things like my kids throwing tantrums or crying or me. Well, I'll show me frustrated. I don't care about that. But for the privacy of my children, I'm not going to show difficult moments with them because that wouldn't be right for me to show the world, right? I will talk about the struggles I have, and I will talk about my personal experiences with that, and that's my story to tell. But keep in mind, it's not all rainbows and unicorns over here. Sometimes it's difficult, sometimes it's a struggle. And just because you don't see it in this little box here, doesn't mean it doesn't exist. And I'm completely transparent and upfront on this channel. Sometimes people don't like that, and that's completely fine if that's not for you. But this is who I am. This is why my channel name is my name, because this is who I am. I would never mislead anyone, but if this channel ever makes you feel inadequate, first, no, you are not. Second, leave the channel. It's okay. Like, if just getting away from the constant feed of it helps you, then go for it. So those are my 5 homeschool mom confessions. If you have any questions, leave them down below. Now, thanks for watching.